Tang.
And it's your girl Jess.
And we're here with another episode of What's Real. Today we have Leslie Tops with the Tops PR firm.
Hey. Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been really busy for me. For some people, the quarantine has slowed them down. For us, it's made life so much more busier and faster, and so it's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to stop. Yeah.
So for those who don't know you, can you introduce yourself and let them know where they can find you?
Of course. I am Leslie Tops. I am a senior publicist in Atlanta, Georgia, entertainment publicist, and you can find me on Instagram, Leslie Tops _ or other social media platforms, Leslie Tops, Facebook, and Twitter.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well let's get started. What does public relations mean to you?
Public relations is all about connecting. It's about building relationships, and it's also about bringing awareness to someone's brand, product, or something that they have going on that they want to promote.
Okay.
I think it's very important to build relationships with people on a professional level, and then sometimes through that professional level you can build relationships on more of a personal level. But it's good to get to know people, learn how they communicate, and you build awareness through things like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, how would you describe your day-to-day as being a PR for your client?
Oh, it's so busy. But it's like I really try to utilize time management. It's very important to me. That way things won't get too hectic and I won't get overwhelmed. So I like to write down my to-do list or task list the day before to kind of know what are my priorities. And so the next morning when I look at it, I know what things do I need to go ahead and knock off the list. What do I need to do? And so really checking emails. I don't keep my ringer on. I got bad nerves. So the ringer's going off with phone calls and texts, and then additionally social media and the email. That's a little bit too much for me, but I always keep it by me. So I'm always checking email, checking my phone, scheduling calls. I have a really cool little platform that I use, an app, to make sure that I can schedule calls efficiently and things of that nature. And then I also train a lot because I have interns that I work with, and so it's a lot of training from day to day until they get to where they need to be able to help out with the needs of the firm.
You stay busy. Even the night before, so I got to prepare myself for that.
Yeah, I used to try to do like a 9 to 5 thing, but now it's getting to the point where we may be sending emails at 11 p.m., 2 a.m., so it's kind of crazy.
I could believe it. What skills have you acquired that can help communicate your client's message?
Well, definitely when it comes, I think communication skills is so important. I actually have a degree, bachelor's in communications, and I started working in radio, and so that was the communications field that I got my bachelor's in. But I think being able to relate to people and to be able to communicate effectively, people communicate differently depending on their background, their relationships, their experience, things of that nature. And so it's very important to communicate in a way that you can meet the needs of your client. I think that's number one. And then, like I mentioned earlier, having the relationships that the client may not have. So you are going to expose them to people that they can't reach. That's very important, whether that's a phone conversation, whether that's an event, or some type of way where you can compare the two and bring them together.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
So I know you say you definitely need communication. So what are other qualities you should have as for being a PR?
One thing I said, I did an interview not too long ago, I was like, you cannot be lazy to be a good publicist because there's so much going on, and you can't have what's the word I'm looking for? Like a very relaxed feel, because it's always, you got to be on point, you got to be moving, you got to be shaking, to be able to relate to people in a way to make sure that you understand what their needs are, and that way you can help them, because if you don't know what they're looking for, then there becomes a clash in your communication, because they're thinking one thing and you're thinking something else, and then you don't meet the goal. And so that's very, very important. Relationship building, networking, just being able to be able to pick up the phone and make phone calls and to make things happen, get those connections happening. That's very important.
Okay, that's definitely.
That does sound important.
Yeah.
How can you use social media to reach and impress the traditional media?
Well, I think social media is this huge platform, like the World Wide Web, you know. So with social media, what we do is we help to make sure that we're branding our clients in a very professional way. So it doesn't look like there's a faded picture or some font that's out of date or anything like that, or the images look really good and the content is good, the verbiage is good, it's up to date. And that's really going to help because you have so much exposure through social media, and there's so many ways to promote and then retract how you're doing on it, how many followers you have, who are the demographics that you follow. So I think that it's really good, but I also think that it takes a strategic plan to make that happen and to reach those type of goals, because anybody can use social media, but everybody don't have a big following. Everybody doesn't get the exposure that they may want. And so what we do is we come in and help to make sure that that goes through in a strategic way.
Yeah. That definitely matters. Just when to post or how to post. Or how to make people look, just from social media.
How to engage with the people that you're following. Like, can you do a contest? Can you do some type of game or ask a question? Or can you post something that's trending? Are you talking about something that people want to talk about?
Giving
That's important. Exactly.
So have you had any bad experiences through this whole just being a PR with your clients?
Yeah, I think, especially in the beginning, I think that, again, it just always goes back to that communication and making sure that the client understands, what we do. And because if they don't understand, I had a potential client asked me just last night. He was like, well, what can we expect at the end of this? And I said, well, first off, let's figure out what you're expecting, because this is what we understand that we're going to be doing for you. And it's about branding. It takes time. Some people think that, oh, well, you can just make this happen for me overnight. And it doesn't work that way. So if you're on an independent level, don't expect to be just all of a sudden on this major platform, because you're not major. The people that are on that platform are major. So it's just really trying to understand and connect that so that they can, see the quality of what we do, understand what we do, and then how that result is going to come about. And it does time. It takes time.
That's time.
Yeah.
Because it definitely, I'm going to say, and for an artist especially, they definitely have to do their part. And then wanting more help with their exposure,
And one thing about people who don't really work in a major environment, as far as it could be a major label or a major network or just publicity when it comes to TV, press and media, radio. I think a lot of times when you're not in that environment, you have for lack of better words, a fantasy, quote unquote, about it, and it's not really realistic. So you look at people like, oh my goodness, this is so and so, I see her all the time, or I listen to their music, or I see them on TV, I watch their movies, but they're people just like everybody else. And so people don't understand that also it's a business. So it's not just like, oh my goodness, now, I got money, or I got cars, or jewelry, or clothes, or whatever the case may be, and now my life is perfect. That's not realistic, and so that's what people don't understand, that we're always working, and then when you do acquire those things or that type of success, you have to work even harder to maintain
it. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like people think it's just like the, I don't know, like a wish, like, oh, my wish came true, thank you. It's so,
and that's easy, right?
It's just
not.
It's a lot of work behind that.
Exactly.
How would you describe your company's atmosphere?
Very fast paced, and it can be kind of intense at times, because we are extremely, professional. I take the different places and environments that I've worked in, and I bring them the good things that I liked about them, whether it's from radio, from retail, from working under a CEO and as an executive, and take that into the business. And so we try our best to be as professional as possible when it comes, again, to communication, to email etiquette, when it comes to making sure that the clients and the people that we work with understand what's going on, very responsible, the way we even deliver our verbiage. And so I think that, it's people are learning. Like I said, we work with interns, we work with people who may be publicists that are coming in. Definitely want to understand our brand and our environment, because it's extremely professional. I mean, Lenice,
Yeah.
And so I would say that, but overall, it's really, it's kind of, I wanted to say fast paced, because it's always something going on, and you have to know how to multitask to be successful, especially if you're working, if you are a publicist and you're working in that environment. I would think so.
Yeah. Just doing PR, A&R, that type of atmosphere is very busy. It's keeping up with paperwork, emails, updates. But it's, like I said, if it's something that you want, it's no limitation to, getting it done. So
we always say we want to work with people, especially when it comes to the job. they have a passion.
Yeah.
You have to love what you do
You
in order
do.
to be successful. Otherwise, it's like either you can't handle it or you don't want to, really train because it's not something that you really want to do.
Yeah.
So having that passion is very essential.
I know the different events that me and Jessica went to, we were excited, but at the same time, it was still business. It's like you want to be a fan, but it's like right now we trying to get a message across.
And even those events was like, it's busy, you know, like we make sure we speak to everybody, you know, leave an impression on them. So,
and get contacts.
Yeah.
Contact.
Follow up.
Yeah.
Very important.
Those are the top.
Right? You meet them and you still got to make sure you don't forget about me.
Right. That's right.
Don't forget about me. Follow up on this.
That's right. And every relationship won't equate into ongoing relationship, but you have to do your part as far as, like you said, following up and making sure that you make that contact and let your presence be known. And what's meant to happen and come together, it will.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
I feel like leaving an impression too. Just some type of, I remember you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be possible.
So what has led you to be like, I want to create my own, PR firm, and what started that? What got you doing that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I went to college in Memphis, Tennessee, and I worked in radio, like I told you guys. And then when I was in Memphis, I did a lot of music production, long story short. So I wanted to come to Atlanta to learn more about the music industry on a bigger scale. And what happened was I got down here, I rented a U-Haul truck, got a new car, got the car on the dolly, and I drove down here by myself. And got the apartment the same day. It was like a crazy experience. And I ended up getting a job in retail. And so I was networking with like music business organizations like ASCAP and stuff like that, and volunteering and stuff. And then I met this girl, and she was actually escorting some talent to the event. And so I saw her, and I was at an event, and she was asking all these questions. It was like really like back to back to back. I was like, what does she do? And I asked her, and it turned out that she worked for a PR agency. I was like, okay. So I said this, and she gave me information. I didn't contact her because I already knew that was going to be like a game changer. And I didn't know if I was ready at that time. So what I did was I waited to call her. And then after I kind of really got used to the retail thing, I'm like, this is not something I want to do long term. I gave her a call. And then I found out that, she wasn't there anymore, but her supervisor emailed me back. And then I found out that the office was in Jermaine Dupri's studio at Southside. I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So long story short, I was like, I gotta get this job. This is a perfect opportunity for me to connect with the music industry. That's what I was thinking. But what ended up happening, this particular company, and shouts out to 135 Agency, Septosa Foster, Shantae Bacon, they were working at the time with a lot of urban networks, TV networks. And so it really exposed me a lot to be able to handle talent, like actors and stuff, doing phoners and doing movie screenings and stuff like that, red carpet screenings. And I really got involved into that, and I've just been doing it ever since.
Wow.
So that's kind of how that happened. Yeah. That's the short version. Very short version.
And drove down ambition, like I'm gonna do this.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a story. That's one for the book.
For real.
When I moved to Georgia in 2009 to be a cook.
Oh, really?
And I love the art. And I just went on to doing everything else, but it just, just the willpower and the determination to come down here and start something was the best thing I could have did. Yeah. And now look,
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here, I believe, especially for young African American people. I do believe that.
Yeah, it is. And you got to be a fool to say you can't do anything or there's nothing to do when you're in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's true.
You just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
What would be some of the advantages of joining your company?
Yeah, as a client. Yeah,
no,
I understand. Definitely just that one-on-one connection, because we're more so of a boutique firm. So it's not like we're this huge firm that has all these clients and, it's hard to reach us and connect with us and relate. So I think that always is very important for people who like that type of one-on-one relationship. And so they can know what's going on. They're being attended to. It's not oversaturated.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the benefits. And then also, we deliver results. And that's very important. Like, you want to make sure that, you know, your time, your money, everything is going towards a purpose for what you're trying to do with your career or your brand. And that's very important. I think our clients are very satisfied with that. That's the feedback that we get.
Oh, cool.
Or what do you do that certain people don't think that PRs do? What's certain things that people...
Yeah, a lot of times when you say PR, public relations, or publicist, people really don't even know what that is. You know, being that we work in entertainment, maybe, you know, people may want to hire us because they want to get on that major level, and they don't understand that, like we said earlier, that it takes time, it takes strategy, it takes implementation. I mean, it's not something that just happens overnight. It's not like I'm making a phone call to whoever that you guys know, and I'm like, hey, put him on, and then they're on. I mean, it takes a lot of work, and so I think that the whole aspect of that relationship and building it for our clients, people don't really understand that process, and they may not be aware of the length of the time that it may take to go to that next level and the things that you have to do. Another prime example is when there's like a project that someone's working on. A lot of times they'll try to hire the publicist after they're done with the project or after they've released it any type of way, whether it's on social media or whatever. But what they should do is hire the publicist first. Let the publicist guide them into that transformation and building that and to make sure that it looks the way it needs to be. So if we're pitching something, we're comfortable with pitching it, and it's all the way full scale professional. It's not just half baked or whatever. So I think that's something that people really don't understand before they hire publicists. They need to hire us on the front end, not the middle or the back end, and then also have realistic expectations when it comes to timing.
Okay, making sure that y'all are there throughout the whole process.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
So
even before. Like let us prepare that for you. Give us 30 days to help you prepare it. That's going to be a better outcome for you.
Yeah. So I have one more question.
Sure.
Okay, so for others who also, you know, want to be a PR publicist, you know, what's some advice you could give them, you know, if they want to start getting into the field, or just anything they may need to know just so they can start into the business?
Yeah, definitely. You know, if you can, find a mentor, like someone that you can work under to learn and grow. Another thing, I had an interview not too long ago, I told them never burn bridges. Like, even if something's not going your way or you feel some type of way emotionally about it, then you have to really figure out how can you communicate that in a professional way and not an emotional way. I think that's very important. Also, I would definitely suggest for people to, you know, have a network. Go to events that, you know, other PR people that want to do PR, other publicists are, you know, and then look at your, you know, work on your clientele, like know who your client is, and then make sure that you are ready before you bring on that client, that you have the expertise, the skill, and the knowledge to make sure that you're going to be able to deliver. Because the last thing you want to do is just, you know, bring people on and then you get a bad name or a bad reputation. You don't want that. So yeah, definitely build your network. That's very important.
And those are the words from Miss Top. Thank you so much. That was very informational.
Definitely.
For those who want to reach you, can you please let them know where you can be reached at one more time for us?
Sure. They can always shoot me a text, 404-822-9769. You can shoot me an email. Our website is topsprfirm.com, and all of our social media is on our website, topsprfirm.com.
There you go.
What's real? What's real with